While parking on a construction working zone, stopped by the projects or whatever in front of us. This is the scenery on the side of the road. This is the tunnel in front of me to Whittier. It's 2.5 miles tunnel. It's supposed to be the longest in the mountain tunnels in America. And it's $13 round trip. And the tunnel goes in, you only travel in one direction. So right now the tunnel is probably waiting for the reverse direction to come out. Then we will be going into the tunnel at about 1:30. Right now is 12:50. On the other side of this mountain is Whittier. And from the scenery as I drive towards this region, it's just spectacular. Just look at this. Oh yes. Just look at that. Spectacular. That's the glacier. That is the Portage Pass Glacier. Hey bear! I just passed someone who told me there's a black bear in this area, and unfortunately I forgot to bring my bear spray. But actually I did not forget. I just decided this is safe enough. But apparently there are still bears. I thought there's so many people on this trail, but what the heck, that's fine. I'll just be careful, that's all. Hey bear! Try to scare them away. In the meantime, I'm almost at the lake anyway. Hey bear! Hey bear! Oh, even at the side of the lake, it's hard to see the glacier because it's lower. This is a beautiful place. Waterfalls everywhere. Just look at this mountain. So many waterfalls coming down. Snow on the ground. This is the Portage Pass summit, 800 feet up from the ocean level. So this is only 800 feet and there's still snows on the ground, primarily because this climate is more like Arctic. It's colder climate, so the snow, some portion of the snow will stay snow year-round, never melt. That's why the glacier is so low, because the weather is so cold. This is an interesting building. Whittier Army Port Historical District, the Buckner Building. At the end of the World War II, U.S. Army garrison at the Whittier Army Port was still wintering in a small wood-framed buildings. The event of Cold War in 1948 increased the concern. Therefore, they put the troops, 1,000 troops under one roof. And this is the building was designed as the Buckner Building in honor of a general. Construction began in 1949, occupancy in 54, 6 stories of a building, basically an entire city under one roof, providing for 1,000 soldiers and officers to live in here, including all of their need, including a hospital, a theater, a bowling alley, a jail, a bakery, a church, a barbershop, a library, radio, TV station, rifle range, photo lab, a commissary, and a huge cafeteria and kitchen, and officer and enlisted personnel clubs, all connected by wide stairwells and elevators. The massive concrete building was built in 7 sections, each separated by 8-inch gaps. This gave the structure the flexibility to ride out the earthquakes, including the devastating 9.2 Alaskan earthquake of 1964. It took $6 million to build this building, and the building is now closed. It did not say when it was closed, but this is the building. The whole U.S. garrison is stationed. It's a midden city. So Whittier originally was not a historic town, I guess. It's just mainly a soldier's settlement, a soldier's garrison. This is the city of Seward. And Seward is the Secretary of State during the Civil War period, and that is the time when the United States government purchased the territory of Alaska from Russia. So it happened, I think, shortly after the Civil War. Secretary of State Seward, who was the main advocate for purchasing Alaska, and at that time he was the butt of jokes. Everyone called that Seward's folly. Folly means stupid things that he did. Such a stupid thing, he purchased a remote, completely useless piece of land for millions of dollars. And look how smart he was. Now looking back, one of the smartest purchases in history of the United States. If I recall, the 1964 earthquake significantly altered the geological features of Alaska's coastline. So some of the coastal areas become dented, went downward, it becomes submerged in water. And some of them probably went up, some of them went down. And we see certain sections of the coastline where there have dead trees from that earthquake, because the tree used to be above ground, and then with the ground lowered, the salty ocean water seep in and caused the trees to die. And it's eerie feeling. But and also, if I remember correctly, this section of the land that I'm walking on right now is considered unsafe to construct anything because of earthquakes, and that's why they made a RV park. Of course, RV park is okay. It's short term, and RVs are not afraid of earthquakes anyway. And a third risk, a third potential hazard might be tsunami. If there is a great earthquake happening, say, in the near shore region of the Pacific, or somewhere around Alaska coastline, it could cause a huge tsunami. That tsunami could destroy the coastline, including the ground I'm standing on. This is at the Marathon Trail in Seward. This is the famous trail that they hold the annual race to the top on July 4th, Independence Day. And the net elevation change is about 950 meters, I think, and 930 meters, which is about 2,800 feet net elevation change. And the trail is super steep. It's probably 25 degrees. So in the distance of about 1.5 miles to 2 miles, 1.5 miles probably. So in such a short distance, with such a huge climb, and imagine if you have to run to the top. This is a really tough race. But today is not July 4th. It's quiet here. But it's a super steep hike. Is typical of the hikes I've done in most of these areas. Very few people. Quiet, beautiful, lush green with streams running nearby and birds and some warning of bears, and that's it. Hello.
Hello.
Are there any bears on this trail?
We haven't seen any. There can be.
Oh, you got it too. Okay. First time on this hike for me, so I'm just curious.
Oh, us too. Have fun.
Okay.
You're about to be in snow.
Okay. Beautiful area. This is halfway on top of the marathon trail. The rest of the trail might be covered with snow. This is so beautiful. Underneath this big pile of rocks and debris and gravels, it seems obvious that it's just a pile of snow covered by whatever rock slide that caused probably some time ago. So underneath it's all snow. This is a snow mound. This might be a miniature version of the Pingle Mounds in the Arctic region, because clearly this is not a pile of rocks. This is a pile of snow, and we can see from there as well. Very interesting. This is a marathon hike from Seward. This is on the Marathon Trail in Seward. this section. Just gorgeous. This is still on the marathon trail. There are two streams flowing down, one on my left, one on my right. This is on the shore of Kenai Peninsula. Tomorrow I'll be going to Homer. Tonight we'll be staying here for the night on the beach. In the distance is a very tall peak. I don't know what that peak is. Peninsula of the southern tip of mainland Alaska. It is really difficult to capture the majestic nature of these peaks in the far distance by taking video or photo, because if you stand here, this is on a far greater scale than the Grand Canyon you could imagine, because the distance from here to the peaks across the ocean, across the bay, is probably 30, 40, 50 miles. And then you have the mist and the fog just above the ocean surface, but below the peaks, contrasted with the dark cloud in the sky. It's just incredibly beautiful. Incredibly beautiful. It's very hard to capture even in pictures. Incredibly beautiful. Homer, Alaska.